Hi, I am recording a post this week for our discussion forum, which was on two social enterprises, Bombas and Warby Parker, which interestingly, I had not heard of either of these organizations before. So it was really interesting to be able to read up about them and really understand what they're doing to benefit society and, what it looks like from a social business model perspective. And so when I think about, both of these companies, a lot of similarities, right? They both have a one-for-one model. Bombas focusing on the selling of socks and the homeless community. And as anyone who's ever worked with homeless community or donated to the homeless community knows, socks are like such an important thing for folks to have, for homeless people to have. And it's something that you probably don't really think about or totally take for granted, is just the ability to have not just clean socks, but like socks that function and, are there for the purpose of keeping your feet warm, keeping your shoes from wearing, and, really protecting that from smell as well, right? Like that's something that we probably don't commonly think about, but if you're wearing socks without shoes, that's permeating a smell. And certainly homeless people are going to be more sensitive to that, given that they don't have ready access to bathing often, right? That's not often something that they have the liberty of doing on a regular basis. So lots of reasons why socks are really important, but love the model at Bombas of you buy one, we donate one. Warby Parker doing the same thing for glasses, for eyeglasses, where, if you're buying them, they are donating them to folks who don't readily have access to eyeglasses. And that's a really important thing, right? So if I think about keeping my body warm and clean and, protecting my feet, which are an incredible asset to the human body, how important that is. Thinking also about like not being able to have, the vision, that I want or need to function in my life because I can't afford to buy a pair of glasses. So the fact that, both of these companies bring these really important pieces, maybe things that seem simplistic, at least in when you think about socks, very simplistic, but also like an incredibly important piece of fabric for those who are, don't have it readily available or don't have the ability to readily obtain such a thing. So both really important in that way. Both companies are very mission driven. I think their missions are both social and economic, right? So social in the fact that they are really looking to how do we make an impact on society, but economic in that they're making a profit. They're for-profit businesses. So they're wanting to make a profit to be able to do more good, really, in society. And so it's something I think about. Tom's Shoes has been one of my examples of this, and a corporation that I have really certainly look up to and have bought many pairs of shoes for them over the course of my life, for not just me, but all of my family members, because they have a one-for-one model, right, where for every pair of shoes that I buy, they donate a pair of shoes to people in need. And I think that's such an incredibly important thing to do. And just the fact that, as for any business, I feel like, if you're making a profit from society, then it's like, what can you give back to society to, do more good in your community. So I do think that that's a really important concept and one that both companies, seem to be very much aligned to. They're both B corporations. I think, B corporation, how do I reconcile that with social enterprise? It's really, B Corps are doing what a social enterprise is expected to do, but they are really putting their money where their mouth is, right? Or they're walking the talk. So they're not just saying these are the things that they do, but they have to pass rigorous testing to be a certified B Corp. So that is, something where they're actually really taking these pieces of social enterprise very seriously and really being able to show, how they can meet that criteria, often while still making a profit, not being nonprofit enterprises, but being very focused on that social aspect of their enterprise. That's a core part of their business, not just something that they do as part of their strategic plan. It is core to their strategic plan, right? So I think that's kind of how they're very similar, and certainly where it differs a little bit from most economic businesses is that you will see them having a piece of social responsibility or social enterprise. That is a piece of some business models, almost all really anymore. If you really want to compete in the environment, then you need to have some aspect of social responsibility, typically, just knowing that consumers shop with their values. So I think that that's important, but when you're at a B Corp, it's at a completely different level, right? And you are meeting those aspirations. Whereas, like I said, other enterprises, they're just doing it because it's part of their overall mission and not to say that they're just doing it to check a box. I don't think that's true necessarily, but it's certainly not something that drives their core strategy. It's like, if something had to go, would that be one of the things to go? Maybe. Whereas, when you're talking about social enterprise or B corporations, or public benefit corporations, like, it's core to who they are. So it's not something that you can just cut out of the business model, right? So anyways, enjoyed the topic this week. It was fun to read the posts and to really hear others' thoughts, and really made me think a lot more and think about, the companies that I support and why I support them. So thanks, and look forward to next week.